Hi guys, welcome to Hustlefreewealth. So most of the parents invest for their child's education with a fixed SIP in an equity mutual fund. That sounds like the right thing to do, and it is, but it's only half the job. Education planning is not just about running an SIP. It is about building a clear, goal-based plan and reducing risk as you get closer to the college date. Imagine savings for 10, 15 years, doing everything right, and then realizing the college fees are almost double of what you expected. So that is what happens when you plan with today's costs and ignore how fast education prices are actually rising. Most parents wake up to the real number only when the admission letter arrives, and there is usually no time left to fix anything. By then, it is either a compromise on the college or they end up taking a huge loan. In this video, we are going to fix that. You will see how to calculate your child's education goals step by step, how much you really need to invest, where that money should go, and how to reduce your risk as the goal comes closer. Stay till the end because there is going to be a simple one-page checklist that you can screenshot and actually use while planning. There is one important point that you must note that the normal inflation in India is around 5 to 6%, whereas education inflation in India has been around 8 to 12%. So let's put that into perspective. So if a 4-year college degree costs 16 lakhs today, even at 6% inflation, it is going to cost around 40 lakhs in 15 years. And this is just college. If you add private school education from preschool till class 12th, the total itself can reach from 25 to 30 lakh rupees or more in many cities. So when you put schooling plus college together, you're easily looking at a total education cost of 50 lakhs to 1 crore and more if you are targeting top private colleges or foreign education. So the first step that comes for planning a child's education goal is deciding the target amount. So we are going to work with 1 crore for higher education. If the goal is for a foreign degree or a premium institute, you can always scale this number up. Second is the time duration within which we have to get that much amount. So if your child is newborn, you roughly have 18 years. If your child is 5 years old, you have about 12 to 13 years. If your child is 10 years, you're left with around 7 to 8 years. So once you know two things, the target amount and the number of years, the math becomes kind of surprisingly clear. Step 3 is understand the returns for planning. So let's assume a 12% annual return from an equity oriented mutual fund portfolio. Now, this is just a planning assumption, not a guarantee. Remember that. The returns could be higher or lower. And let's look at how the required SIP changes depending on the time that we have. So for 18 years, we need to do an SIP of 14,000 per month. For 12 years, we need to do an SIP of 31,000. And for 10 years, the amount goes to 45,000 per month. Same goal, less time, and the pressure on your monthly SIP shoots up. If you try to do this only with safe products like bank RDs or fixed deposits, they earn around 5 to 6% after tax. The required monthly contribution can climb to 60 to 65,000. That's why for long-term education goals, equity is almost unavoidable if you want realistic numbers. But this is exactly where people stop. They pick a random SIP amount, feel good about doing something, and they just let it run. That's not real goal-based investing. A normal SIP assumes you will stay in equity till the very last year, and that is not going to happen. You must reduce risk as you approach the goal, and this alone increases the SIP you actually need. Next step is components of goal-based planning. Goal-based planning has essentially got three moving parts. One is growth, second is risk reduction, and third is time. When the goal is far away, equity does the heavy lifting and helps your money grow. As the goal gets closer, you slowly reduce exposure to equity and move more into safer options like debt funds or fixed income. Think of equity as the engine and debt as the brakes. So you need the engine at the start to gain speed, and you need the brakes near the destination to protect what you have built. A simple thumb rule that you can use is if the goal is more than 10 years away, then be in equity. If the goal is between 8 to 10 years, start adding debt to your portfolio. And in the last 5 years, the focus should be largely on safety and capital protection. Remember, you're not trying to beat the market in the last few years. You're trying to make sure that the money is actually there when the college admission happens. Let's quickly understand this with a simple example. So earlier we said that to reach 1 crore in 12 years, a SIP of 31,000 is needed, but the condition is that you keep doing the equity SIP for the entire 12-year period. Now, that is unrealistic because what are you going to do in case the market tanks in the last 1 or 2 years just before you have to pay the college fees? There are several ways to fix that issue, but we are going to discuss a couple of ways here. So, scenario one is that you invest aggressively in equity only for 9 years, not the entire 12 years, and then move that money into debt for the remaining 3 years. So, what is going to happen here is that you will need an SIP of 43,500 for 9 years. You will build roughly around 84 lakhs. And once you move that money into a debt fund at 6% interest rate, you will reach closer to 1 crore. Here, the SIP got increased from 31,000 to 43,500. And the reason why the SIP got increased to 43,500 is because here you're doing the SIP only for 9 years. After that, you're not doing any investment at all. What if I do not want to increase my SIP by that much? I want to continue with lesser SIP. In that case, what we can do is I can do an SIP of 38,000 for 9 years in equity. I'm going to get 73 lakhs. I'm going to move this to debt. I'm going to continue my SIP of 38,000, but in a fixed income product for 3 years. And that will get me over 1 crore. So the key takeaway is once you plan for de-risking, the required SIP is higher than 31,000 that we initially discussed that if you do SIP for 31,000 for 12 years at 12%, you're going to get 1 crore. But that is not how you should be planning for a goal-based investing. Next step number five is review your portfolio once every year. The reason is simple. When you decide the SIP amount, you would have decided based on your income, education inflation, portfolio returns, etc. All of these three things can change, and you should re engineer a plan. Next is tax planning and insurance. People just do SIPs and they forget that when they'll withdraw the amount, that amount is going to be taxable. So that is why one should plan their investments in a tax efficient way. At least one should always take the benefit of that 1.25 lakh long term capital gain tax if that is applicable. Second is insurance. God forbid if something happens to the breadwinner of the family, uh, in that case, the college is not going to reduce fees. So that is why one must secure term insurance. And please stay away from bundled plans like guaranteed income, etc., etc. The returns that you get is very low, and you don't even get the adequate amount of risk covered. Step seven is what if you're late? If you're late, you're late. Don't panic. Panicking is not going to help you. But what you can do is invest as aggressively as you can for whatever duration you have, and after that, remaining fund can be had via student loan or other loans also. And even if you're funding half the amount, that is still going to reduce the loan considerably. And finally, here is a checklist that you can screenshot. And if you want help, comment your child's age and target amount, and I'll reply with a rough SIP range. And if you like the video, please subscribe and share it with someone who may need it. Disclaimer, this video is just for education purpose only. Please consult a financial advisor before making any kind of investment decision. Thank you. Have a blessed day.